Please welcome Senior Vice President in International Operations for Dubai Corporation of Tourism and Commerce Marketing, Hoor Al Khaja, in discussion with Skift President Carolyn Kremins.
I'm so happy to be here with you, please. And Hoor, thank you so much. We love being in your beautiful city of Dubai. Thank you for hosting us again. Lovely to be here.
Assalamu alaikum, good morning, and thank you for being here.
Thank you. So I'm going to recall coming here, it was almost a decade ago, and I remember very, very specifically sitting in Isam Kazem's office as CEO of the Department of Economy and Tourism. And he was talking about Dubai would become this powerhouse, that there is going to be this thing called the Expo 2020 in 2020, and that there would be millions of tourists that would be coming through. And I just remember hearing these numbers and I was thinking, yeah, good luck with that. And here we are, a decade later, and congratulations. I mean, it's amazing the growth that Dubai has experienced, and it's really pretty stunning to see it. So I also remember that he was talking about how Dubai, because of where it is situated, was perfectly located, that east meets west, and that it would be a stopover. But here now, years later, everyone's living here. No one's stopping over, they're actually staying. So when you look at tourism for the next decade, not to put you on the spot, but what does that look like when you think about Dubai?
So I think in Dubai, it's very difficult to talk about tourism without looking at the overall economy. And as you rightfully said, there is a vision by the leadership, by His Highness, for the city. We do have the vision that we call, or he calls, Dubai 2033, which is D33. People ask us why 2033. It's because that year would mark the 200-year anniversary that the Al Maktoum tribe, His Highness's tribe, was actually ruling Dubai even before the UAE was formed as a country.
Did you guys know that?
So it's a milestone year. At the time it was set a couple of years ago, was also a 10-year vision. So the vision of D33 is really to position Dubai not just as the best place in the world to visit as a tourist, but also to live in, to invest in, to work at. So really tourism is just one part of this, this whole story of what makes this place special, and why do we think that people want to move here or live here to achieve their dreams. And people think it's a new thing. The vision is a new trajectory. But I personally, as someone who's from Dubai, I'm born and raised here, I'm from the city, I think it's actually very much a part of our DNA. If you look at Dubai's history, and even before the UAE, or even when the UAE first formed, the founding father of Dubai is His Highness Sheikh Rashid, the late Sheikh Rashid, who was Sheikh Mohammed's father. And at the time when Dubai was just kind of like a trading hub, a pearl diving village, he would invite people from the region, traders, from neighboring countries, from India, come, let's trade, move here. And we grew up always having people from all walks of life be part of the city's growth, be part of the city's vision. It's no secret that, the local population makes up a small percentage of the overall population. And so this whole notion of come here, you'll have opportunities. This city is ambitious. This city is hungry for growth. This city wants you to win, and we win with it. And it's a public-private partnership. It's not a new thing. It's just that it's on steroids now,
Yeah.
And but it's always been part of our DNA growing up here. And when people ask me, like, do you find this to be challenging, I'm like, we live and breathe this. We've always lived and breathed this. We love it. We don't claim to have made it on our own. And so that's the overall vision. Now, how tourism plays into that, it's obviously one of the biggest contributors to the GDP of the city. Last year, we broke our pre-pandemic figures. We were at 17 million visitors in 2023. We don't even talk about like 2019 anymore. And for when we look at 2024, from January to September, we welcomed 13.29 million visitors, which was a 7% year-on-year increase from the same period before. Right. So I think we're well on our way for the tourism part of the story, but the vision encompasses beyond tourism as well.
Yeah, well, fantastic. Congratulations to all of you. I actually came home from my last trip from Dubai, and I said to my husband, I think I could move there. I'll take him.
We're working on it.
Yeah. In any case, I mean, when you think about Dubai, you can't help but think about luxury. You can't help but think about opulence and 7-star hotels and Lamborghinis, driving around, and there's so much luxury here. You're looking now at expanding into midscale. A lot of midscale hotels are starting to open. As you look to broaden the footprint for Dubai and what that looks like, by going into this midscale arena, do you feel that it dilutes any of the luxury story, or how do you look at it from Dubai
So to be fair, I don't think it's a new approach. I joined DET almost a decade ago. At that time, we were working on the then vision. And one of the first things that we did 10 years ago was we were looking at our trajectory for 2020 and beyond at that time. And we looked at the hotel supply pipeline at the time of, right, as you rightfully said, Dubai is very much known for beautiful, 5-star and beyond properties, iconic ones such as the Jumeirah Burj Al Arab and others. And when we were looking at our, forward projections versus the hotel supply, we were kind of looking at a situation where we may have an oversupply of the upper scale segment, even though we did have a relatively good mix of mid-scale segment. And at that time, the government made a decision with all the relevant parties that, we don't want to price people out. We don't want to be a just uber luxury segment. I mean, yes, if that's a segment we want to cater to, great, but we want to be accessible for all other segments as well. So they came up with a very lucrative incentive at that time. That was, I believe it was in 2015, if I'm not mistaken, that if you are a property investor or developer and you're going to open a 3 or 4-star hotel property in the next 2 years, we had an incentive scheme where we had waived a lot of different fees from different government sectors for a period of a few years, but you have to open within a certain time frame. And actually that did come into fruition. And the important part is we worked with the land and municipality departments as well, that these properties were also zoned in very key locations. So we're not talking about like some obscure part of town. We're talking about hot tourist spots, just so there's range. And that came into fruition. And if you look at the mix today of the 5-star versus 4, 3, 2, 1, or even hotel apartment segment in Dubai, it's extremely a healthy mix. We have a nice mix of properties all across. And beyond the hotel offering, I think this is one of the misconceptions that people have about Dubai, like, oh, it's so expensive, I can't afford, I can't go there, I can't do things there. Most of the iconic things to do in the city are free. So we were just talking before we came up about the Dubai Mall, and the biggest landmark arguably in the city is the Burj Khalifa, which is a beautiful viewpoint. And the best view of it is to walk to Dubai Mall, and then we have the fountain show, the choreographed music. And you can watch it all day long. It changes songs every 30 minutes into different, like there's international songs, Arabic songs, K-pop songs, like it just changes. And you can just watch that all day for free, that's an example. Or you can go to Old Dubai and catch a Abra, which is our old dhow cruise. That's like 50 cents. It costs 50 cents and you can go forever. You can just tell the guy to take you back and forth, which I love doing, by the way. So really, I think it's a misconception that we continue to work on, but I think there is truly something in Dubai for all segments.
Got it. Okay, good to know. If you can't find me, just look at the fountain. I want to talk a little bit about sustainability. You don't have to worry about over-tourism yet, but you have a lot of land here, and there's plenty of areas to build, but you have to think about sustainability. I know that the Dubai Reef is something that is new. Can you share a little bit more and tell us what it's all about?
So I think the UAE overall and Dubai specifically, we take the sustainability agenda very seriously. It's been the year of sustainability officially 2 years in a row now. We're committed to the UN SDG goals and also the UAE net zero goals. So as part of that, there's been a lot of public sector kind of drive to push the sustainability agenda in different forms, and a lot of support from the private sector as well. Dubai Reef is a great example of that, as it was a project launched by His Highness. It is from my knowledge, it's the largest single-purpose reef development project in the world as a single purpose project. The idea of it is to, see these modules that the white prototype that you see. It's to embed 20,000 of these into 60 square kilometers in the ocean in the next 3 years. And actually, what's really cool is this weekend the first 1,000 are going in, so it's already happening. And so that's an example of like a city. Obviously, there's a lot of private sector support for projects like this, but it's an example of how the city is really, walking the talk basically, and working on sustainable initiatives. If we look down at tourism, as DET, we have a Dubai Sustainable Strategy for the hospitality sector. We basically have a series of kind of criteria. I think there's around 19 criteria, and we support the industry by providing things like a live carbon calculator to measure carbon footprint, and we award properties that are sustainable, and they get it like a stamp. So tourists who are looking for sustainable properties know where to go. And this year we awarded our first 70 properties, 70.
Wow.
Yes, and we hope to see that number grow and continue.
That's great. I love now that I'm staying in hotels and I'm seeing like the plastic is gone. And what I love about this hotel, and you guys probably see this all the time, but I haven't seen it before. My water bottle in my room was stamped with like the date that it was filled. So, and I like that because it just felt fresh rather than sitting there, So yeah, these little improvements make all the difference. So the Accessible Travel and Tourism Conference was held here in Dubai. And that accessible, obviously it's important to any city that you can be accessible, but it's a $210 billion market, right? And so it's not just good to do, it's good business as well. How has Dubai prepared for this market?
So as we aim to be, one of the best cities to live in, to work in, to move to, and we want to be as inclusive as possible. So this means for everyone.
Right.
And I think Dubai and the UAE in general takes the accessibility segment very seriously. I mean, we don't even call, people of special needs or people of disabilities, we call them people of determination because we think language matters, and that's the official language we use here. So there's a lot of efforts citywide to ensure that access is continuously being improved. I mean, I'm not even I'm going to talk about like arbitrary things like, parking or specific.
Right.
These exist. These exist as any world-class city would have, and there are things that are free of charge. So, for example, I have a child who's a person of determination. I don't pay tolls because my car is his car for his wheelchair. So I'm exempt from all tolls and all parking across the city. So these are just arbitrary things. They're not even worth mentioning.
They're small things, but they make a difference.
But then there are big things. Right. So a few examples are, the Dubai airport, which is the busiest airport in the world, I believe, just got last year got certified as a certified autism kind of center. So they know how to deal with even non-visual disability, not visible disabilities is what I'm trying to say. And we are trying to get that same certification for Dubai as an entire city and an entire destination, so that anywhere you go in terms of services, in terms of attractions, in terms of that people know how to cater, so that you don't feel worried if you have a child with an autistic child or a non-verbal a friend or a child, like you get worried, like what if something happens? People will know how to deal with it. People will respect it, So we're trying to do things like that citywide. But then there's also a lot of I don't want to say novelties, but there's things we don't even like. Because someone knew I had a child in a wheelchair. They told me, "Oh, did you go to the beach?" I'm like, "What do you mean?" So apparently, and I was new to this. We have one of our most beautiful free public beaches is the one on Jumeirah, where you can see the Burj Al Arab. So iconic beach. Right. It's completely free. It's beautiful. There's a lot of amazing food stalls there, and you can just go and spend the entire day there again for free. And they told me that on that beach there is a wooden ramp that takes people on wheelchairs all the way to the water. So you don't just enjoy the beach like
Right.
And not just all the way to the water. Once you get to the water, there is a lifeguard that will assist you onto a water-friendly wheelchair, and you can go in the water.
Oh, wow.
And this is completely free.
Yeah.
And this was just like government provided. And I was like, wow, that is absolutely, like, that's true inclusivity. You can enjoy the day at the beach like everyone else. And so things like that are going to keep coming up, but it's definitely really, really high on both the public and private sector agenda here.
Yeah, that's terrific. We're almost out of time. I have so many more questions for you, but I just want to slip this last one in. You and I, two women, we're running tourism companies, travel companies. When it comes to female empowerment, is that a part of your agenda when you look at marketing for Dubai?
You know, to be honest, growing up here as a female, there was never a glass ceiling. So I remember this really, you know, in high school when you start playing these games, like, okay, what's this person most like? Who's gonna most likely end up in jail, or who's gonna most? So I remember this girl so this girl was basically labeling everyone. And she looked at me and she was like, "You're most likely to be a CEO or a minister." And I remember I didn't even think that was not a thing. We already had our first female minister at the time. Today, the UAE has one of the highest representations of female ministers in government and in parliament as well. And also, we just had a new law that specifies a minimum percentage of females in private boards as well. That's going to be active in 25. So really, it's not a thing here. It's not a barrier that we foresee. DET specifically, so, you know, Islam Kadhim is the CEO. The 4 department heads for every single international marketing effort that we do, myself for international operations, Aida Busaidi for social media and C2C, Miet for PR, and Weera for campaigns, all women. Like the entire marketing team is made up of, and I mean, I don't think we're actively going after that. I just think it's by merit, but I don't think there are, I mean, it's really one of the things that I feel we don't talk about enough is there are no glass ceilings for women in the UAE. It's always been the case. It's not a new thing. And I think it's just being more visible as we go along.
Well, that's very fresh and very empowering. Thank you so much. I really appreciate our conversation.
Thank you so much.